Terry, child abuse?
Well, I mean, I would have to say, listen, kids, the advice is don't have, idiots for parents, because it's kind of serious and trivial at the same time, isn't it? It's like, how do you protect young people from the utter stupidity of a parent?
If you have a teenage daughter that has anxiety about her looks, should you not... Isn't the right thing to do to deal with the anxiety?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
With conversation.
But it's like, the idea of BOTOX, because BOTOX is, just gets rid of wrinkles, and it doesn't make you more attractive. Because even the people who have got it and they smooth out a bit, you kind of look at them. I'm not going to mention any of the individuals we see on the TV with it, but you don't actually think they look a bit waxy, don't they?
Yeah. Come on, Louis, you've tried it.
Can I just say this, though, right? One of the things that I kept imagining was, when you've got a teenage kid, if the parent at some point turns around to her and says, you can take that look off your face, and then it'd be like, oh, no, you can't, actually. And also, if I was going to have BOTOX, I don't know if I would like to be stuck with that sort of permanent, surly teenage face. Yeah. That's not the one I'd want.
You've tried it, Louis.
No, I have, and we say Botox down south. But, no, the thing is, I think, I don't know about child abuse. I think the mother is totally wrong, and I think what the mother's doing it for is publicity for herself, and I think the mother has made the child feel insecure by her own insecurities. Yes, I've had Botox. I had it I had it about 6 months ago now. I only had a little bit, but I tried it, and you know what? It was fine. It freshened me up. But look, I mean, I'm expressive. I've got a lot of expression. It took some of the expression away. It did freshen me up, and yes, I did feel good about myself. But the fact would I say yes, go out and have it if you're 15? No. You haven't even grown into your face. You haven't even got a wrinkle. The reason it's for is to literally freshen you up. And for me, it's the mother who is putting this on the daughter and has given the daughter the insecurities. It's all for her. I mean, look at her.
I just can't believe, Louis, the last time you had a little prick was 6 months ago, but there we go.
I know, it's frightening, isn't it?
Yasmin, what do you think?
Well, I do dare to judge this lady, and I do dare to...
she's laughing at your process.
Well, if she's laughing, she really does need to have her own head examined, because girls increasingly now, in our society, because of a whole host of reasons, and we've talked about it here, have very poor self-image, physical self-image. The most beautiful young woman will think she's too fat, and this is a process. And as mothers, we have to work really hard to make them look in a mirror and see what they are.
Super Nanny, when I watched her the other day, Jo Frost, and she had a mother and daughter. The daughter was leaning towards anorexic and had these very negative views about her body. And Jo Frost said, where do you get them all from? And she said, have you listened to how you speak in front of your daughter? Because mother was constantly saying, I don't like this about me, I don't like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. And that's where kids get it from. They get it from the parents.
And I would want social services to get involved here. One of the things is, it's only the poor who have the knock at the door. And here, Terry will agree with that. If you're a poor family living on an estate, they're watching you, and quite rightly, actually. That children need us to take care of them collectively.
But you can spend $500,000 on cosmetic surgery for yourself.
And I'd take Jordan's children away from her for a while as well, actually. These people who bring their own kind of awful attitudes and recreate them in their children. It's heartbreaking.
15, you haven't got any wrinkles when you're 15. No. You haven't got them when you're 16, 17, 18.
But more to the point, you also shouldn't be concerned about what you look like when you're 25. We've got to stop fighting it and start embracing the way we are, Because...
I mean, I did it just because I wanted to see what it was like, but I'm a 40-year-old man. I can make that choice for myself. I know, it's frightening. And it's all worn off.
Let's throw it open to you. I'm glad to say we've got loads and loads of calls. Kirsty.
Firstly, we have Michelle on line 1.
Thanks, Kirsty. Michelle, good morning.
Hi.
Child abuse?
Well, I don't know if it's... Well, child abuse. I mean, child abuse is classed as like a harmful act on a child, isn't it?
Well, there was one recently where a child was taken into care away from the mother when the mother hit the child once on the back of the leg with a hairbrush.
But I mean, I was talking to your team about informed decision. I work in the medical profession, and people can decline or request treatment for all sorts of things. I mean, you have young children having nose jobs and things like that for their vanity. Now, I have a 4-month-old daughter, and if she was to ask me for Botox at 15, I'd be extremely worried.
Yeah.
Because having wrinkles at that age, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. But
not something that happens.
But she'd ask you for it, and then what would you do? Would you give it to her because you would want to stay in control, or would you say no and live in fear that she's going to get it done herself in some backstreet clinic?
I would rather deal with a body issue like that with, say, counselling or something like that. Surgery is not the answer, really, is it? It's child's insecurities.
Absolutely, absolutely. Michelle, thank you. Let's have another.
Next we have Andrew on line 2.
Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
Is it abuse, a form of child abuse?
I wouldn't say the giving of the Botox is a child abuse. The actual child abuse is allowing your daughter to think that partial paralysis of her facial muscles is what's needed to fix her looks.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So what do we do as a society? Do we just turn a blind eye and just let it carry on, or do we intrude? And as I mentioned to our previous caller, social services have taken children into care when mum has hit them once on the back of the leg with a hairbrush.
Well,
I know which I think is more damaging.
With that sort of level of interference, then yes, it is. Society should intervene, but personally, I'd like to see them intervene on the mother and think, look, mum, let's you and me have a little talk together, see this psychiatrist, and maybe we can find out what's wrong with you that you allow your daughter to think like this.
Yeah, well, I think, again, mum has had £500,000 worth of cosmetic surgery herself, so I think we can draw our own conclusions on that one. Thank you, Andrew. It's interesting because, I should have maybe written that into the script that, what is the worst sin? To hit a child once on the back of the leg with the back of a hairbrush, or to produce a child that frets about wrinkles age 15?
Maybe we need to have a law that Botox cannot be used.
At under 18?
Yeah, but when I did have it done, I mean, literally, it takes about a week to kick in. And when I first looked at myself after that week, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this, because I didn't look like me in a sense. So if you are 15 and already insecure, and then you've got to be stuck with that for like 6 months. So this child now is looking at herself. She didn't like herself before. Now she's looking at herself and like, I don't like myself now.
That's a good point. So it can actually make the thing worse rather than solve the problem.
Yeah, and for someone who's very happy and secure with who they are, I was fine. I was like, OK, fine, this is going to go away. But as a 15-year-old...
Very different prospect. OK, we've got time for one more quick one. Thanks for the last one, Andrew.
We have Jill on line 3.
Jill, good morning.
Good morning. You can become immune to Botox. I've been using it for 10 years and I'm now immune to it.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can. And tomorrow I'm going in for cosmetic surgery because I'm immune to Botox. It no longer works. So now I've got to go to the next step.
Why bother?
Because I'm 62 and I don't want to look 62.
You go, girl.
I mean, I've had Botox before. It's fantastic. I had fillers. Fantastic. I'm not insecure. I'm more secure with all this stuff because I look the way I feel. But 15, sometimes I'd like my 15-year-old granddaughter to have Botox because she does pull some funny faces. But I think 15, she's not had an informed choice. An informed choice she should have had is you can become immune. So by the time you need it,
I was just going to say, I mean, the question is whether or not it's child abuse. If the comparison is the girl taken away from her parents, put into care because mum hit her on the back of her leg with a hairbrush, is that a worse sin than to produce a child who feels so anxious about the way they look that they want Botox and you give it to them? Which is the worst sin?
I'd say the vast majority of teenage girls are insecure about the way they look. Yeah. I think that's been going on for generation after generation. Now they can do something about it, but I don't think at 15 they should.
OK, Jill, and boys. Quite right too. And increasingly so.
Increasingly boys, exactly, especially with body awareness. Yeah. And it's just that, I think that is becoming quite a big issue now.
The men, having run the magazines that have ruined women's lives for 40 years, now fall victim to their own stupidity. Their own lives. Absolutely.
See, we were always ahead with the gays. We were always way ahead of that. We keep it all together. We knew it was coming.